Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today it's time for Tech Life Weekly with the Tech Divas. We are here to give you tips and tools on how to run that business easier using your technology. We're going to start out with Fran and this week in history. Fran, what you got for us today?
I'm going to have two things for you. Um, January 13th, 1874. Yes, folks, I said 1874. The U.S. Patent Office issues a patent for the Spalding adding machine, the precursor of calculators and computers. Mechanical adding machines could do simple arithmetic and were popular in business until supplanted by computers in the 1960s.
Wow.
Yes. January 13th, 1910, the first public radio broadcast takes place. A live performance of the opera Cavalleria Rusticana is sent out over the airwaves from the Metropolitan Opera House in New York City.
Wow. I didn't know that that was the first public broadcast was an
Yeah,
opera. That's interesting, huh?
yeah, very interesting. And that was like what, 1910?
And it was in a foreign language as far as we're concerned.
And we're like, people were probably going like, yeah, okay.
I guess
Um,
Mr. Marconi probably didn't think it was a foreign language, but okay.
in my final story, January 13th, 2000. Okay, I'm gonna go to this other one first. Hold
Okay.
on. January 13th, 1989, the Friday the 13th virus strikes hundreds of IBM computers in Britain. This is one of the most famous early examples of a computer virus making headlines. Over 20 years later, while other companies have systems that are practically immune to viruses, Microsoft still hasn't been able to develop a solution to prevent viruses from infecting their systems.
Wow.
And I think it's because they're trying to create software for so many different
Types of
man,
PCs and
yeah, Lenovo and Sony and such and such and such and such. And so it's like whack-a-mole.
mm-hmm. While you're closing the door on one, someone's opening the
It's
door on another.
like, hey, get over there. Yeah.
Like trying
So,
to keep all. How about this? Trying to keep all the doors closed in a hotel.
okay. Yeah, there we go. January 13th, 2000, Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates steps aside as chief executive and promotes company president Steve Ballmer to the position. Gates would stay on as chief software architect until June of 2008 before he finally gave up his day-to-day responsibilities at Microsoft. Uh, it says here that he is still Microsoft's chairman of the board.
Okay.
All right. That is your week in tech history. Hey, Dr. Tachi, how are you doing?
Thank you
She's
so much, Fran.
mm-hmm.
Fran, I have a biz chick in the audience who wanted to come on and talk about one of the tech tips that we gave a couple of weeks ago. And so I'm going to bring her up
Okay.
and let her share her experience, and hopefully I can show some of the things that she shared with me on the screen. So let me. How you doing, TJ?
Hello.
Hello. So let me bring Jill Weston from our breathing space up and let her give a little preview of what we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh,
Good
Jill.
morning. Good morning, TJ from the East Coast. So, I am not a tech diva, but the tech divas and biz chicks have taught me a lot. So, when I heard about AI, the chat GPT, I actually engaged with it. And so, Terry's going to show a video. Basically, it helps you write content And that's something that's a little bit difficult for me. I can get wordy, I can't always address. So Terry's going to show on the screen. I asked the question, give me wording for a women's meditation wellness retreat, and watch how fast it wrote for me. And then I'll come back and share.
It's writing fast for those of you.
Yes. So that's, yes, if you're listening Clubhouse, that's a real-time speed. And what I really liked is it captured certain information. It picked up that I said women. It picked up that I said wellness. And it was written in a tone that probably 70% of it fit for me. And then I went back and rewrote it. Then I kept going further because I was really intrigued. I was up. It was probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. I was getting tired, and I thought, I'm not figuring out how to write this. And a friend had sent me the information. So I logged on real quickly. I had to enter my email address, and I have a kind of a junk email that I use. I had to enter my phone number. I wasn't concerned about that because I don't tend to pick up my phone if it's not a phone number I recognize. So literally within minutes, I had content written. Then I went back, I listened to a Clubhouse room, and I learned a little bit more, and I started asking more specific questions like, write this sentence for a customer. And the sentence was, congratulations on committing to your self-care. And it wrote back, congratulations on committing to your self-care. It takes a lot of dedication and motivation to prioritize your well-being. And we are so proud of you for taking that step. That was significant because I wouldn't have thought to say that I was proud. It recognized that it was customer language, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got more intrigued, and I said, write this sentence for an Instagram post for new viewers. Same question. Congratulations on committing to your self-care. The AI started off with, welcome to our community, which I would not have thought of saying to someone. Then it gave me hashtags at the end of that. So I went down the rabbit hole further and said, what are the top trending hashtags for Yoga Nidra, which is what I teach? It gave me 10. They were rated appropriately for what I know. Then it added in 2 or 3 extra ones in of inner peace, which I would not have thought to use. So in conclusion, if you want to use it, you can do this. I used openai.com. There's a small fee for the annual usage. I'm not going to do that just yet until I learn more about it as far as the privacy, all of that. In one of the Clubhouse rooms, there was an author that was cautioned. She was putting all of her book content in there. She was cautioned to be careful because it is open sourced. For me, I'm just putting some random copy in there. But I was really, really pleased because, again, I get stumped pretty easily. I don't always know to write for an audience. And my understanding is you can say, write this as if I'm a 5-year-old, write this as if I'm a CEO, write
like
this
that.
for, a 30-year-old woman who doesn't have a lot of money to spend on business coaching, and it will write for you. So that's what I have to share.
Thank you so much,
Jill, from the Breathing Space.
So there you are. We are excited, and we are so glad to know that you're taking care of the tips and tools that we're sharing with you.
I am using them. I may not always be on, but I go back and I listen to the replays or I use it.
Thank you so much. I really like the fact that it can create hashtags. That was exciting.
Yes.
It can suggest.
And I believe you all, again, are more experts. I think part of the caution too, I believe it has content. It's not relevant the last 2 years. There's content. And then someone said there was a heady discussion, it was above my understanding. Being careful is information being pulled maybe from irrelevant Reddit sources, or, if 50,000 people are posting bad information about a hot topic, will it pull from that? So there was discussion about whatever your line of business, verify the information, make sure it's correct. Don't just copy and paste it because the information could be incorrect because it's pulling from open sources.
Okay. Well, that's important too. We got some comments over here. Oh, someone's here from a need to
heal.
Body work.
Michelle. We have to thank TJ, Terry
Yes.
Johnson Online. She brings us all of these things. Like I think she brought it to us on a Tuesday, and then
Mm-hmm.
she brought it back again on a Friday. And yes, because one Friday I think we played with it, and it
We
wrote a
did.
poem for me. I was like, "Oh, a poem about oceans." I was like, "Okay, cool." It was really good, and I do have my chat GPT account, and I do use it.
Good.
It really saves a lot of brain cells.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Jill. Jill was on yesterday, and we did a rest from stress meditation yesterday, and I was so calm. By the time we ended, my voice was down like 5 or 6 levels. I was
You're
so, guys,
welcome.
if you're looking to calm your chaos, make sure that you tune in to insighttimer.com and look for Jill Weston. She
Thank you.
she's our resident yoga ninja instructor, and you will be very peaceful after a couple of sessions with her. Thank you again, Jill. We
Thank
know you
you
got to run.
guys.
Have a
Yeah,
great
and
morning.
if you're on Clubhouse, just look for breathing space. The
Our
same.
I'm
breathing,
there. I'm there under. I had to think about because I just hop on there.
our breathing
I
space.
think it's our breathing space with Jill Weston.
Just Calm Jill.
Calm
Jill
Jill
Weston has my picture, and then it's at Calm Jill.
at
C A
Oh,
L
Calm
M
Jill.
J I
Okay.
at
L.
Jill.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank
All right,
you. Have a
guys.
good day.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Jill.
much. See you later, Jill.
All right, Terry, that was good. Hey,
Okay. And
Carlos. Um, where we TJ is up or
well, I got one or two little more things I want to share with you.
okay.
Um, I'm going to skip the one about the AI because we just had a little, talk about AI. But I do want to share this before we go to all of the tech news today. If you guys would just bear with me one more time, I want to share this news segment with you.
Antoinette, the idea of a memorial for Dr. King and Coretta Scott King has been talked about for years, but today here on the Boston Common, that dream finally becomes a reality. The Embrace, a 22-foot tall bronze sculpture, will be unveiled here on the Boston Common for the first time. It's the same spot that in 1965, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. addressed a crowd of 22,000 people, and in the same city where Dr. King and Coretta Scott met while the civil rights icon was earning a PhD in theology here at Boston University.
Boston with the Embrace is the city of belonging. And I think people, when they see this memorial and they see the other names, there's 65 other Boston leaders that are also memorialized on the plaza, they'll see themselves here.
Now, part of the design was not to show the Kings' faces, to focus on their arms and hands so that we can all imagine those are our arms locked together. The executive director of Embrace Boston adding that while this is a memorial for the Kings and those 65 other civil rights leaders, it's also a memorial for all of us. The Embrace will be unveiled to the public at 1 o'clock today. Reporting live on the Boston Common, Matt Reed, WCVB News Center 5.
Nice.
I just thought since Martin Luther King Day is coming up, I believe it's the 16th, this coming Monday, that would be a nice segment to share.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, TJ, you're up. You are.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
Hello,
Good.
everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Friday.
All right, so what we got going on in social media news this week? So since we were talking about Chat GPT, Microsoft has some news. So Microsoft is finalizing a deal to invest $10 billion in the OpenAI, which is the maker of DALL-E and Chat GPT. So DALL-E is the tool that you use to put text descriptions to make graphics. The Chat GPT, which we were just talking about, and we've been talking about for the last, I think, month. We've been talking about it. It's text. You put in ideas, and it helps you generate content and text to, talk to your audience, which we were just talking about. So those are two of the most like AI tools that people are talking about now. So Microsoft had already invested $1 billion in the OpenAI in the initial funding back in 2019. So Microsoft is looking to put more money into OpenAI instead of doing it themselves. They're standing back and letting OpenAI do that. Also, I've heard some talk about why doesn't Google have this tool? They're not going to go down this route. They're kind of standing back and letting OpenAI do
Okay.
this. So what Microsoft is going to do is probably integrate the AI tool into their 365 suite of products. They might put it into LinkedIn. They're definitely gonna put it in Bing. We talked about that last week. Their search engine. So they have, they second or third to Google. So they're trying to get some ground. So with this agreement, Microsoft is going to have a 75% share of OpenAI profits. After that, it would assume a 49% stake in OpenAI. The deal would value OpenAI at $29 billion. So what do we think of that?
All I can say is wow.
Yeah.
Woo.
And just a little bit more about these AI tools. You have to be careful about copyright infringement because that is still there. Even though you're using the tool, you can't copy and paste because what it is that it's getting information that's already available, but it's creating it in a different way. So there's also talk of there being a watermark on the text, so you won't be able to just copy and paste. Also, here in New York City, they have banned. Where did I have it? I think they banned the tool for students.
Over students.
Yeah, New
Dr.
York City
Fauci?
public schools ban access to AI tool that could help them cheat.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
really?
been banned here.
Dr. Tachi, go ahead.
Yeah, so two things. I read that last night. I was in a room where we were talking about various things, but Chat GPT and AI writing tools came up. And we actually went through that article with the New York City Public Schools. And of course, we were talking about it. And that has always been my concern, when it comes to these things, that students can easily find a way to circumvent. These tools are great because I love these types of tools, but for people who are going to use them properly. And generally, if you're a student just trying to get by, and especially in a public school system where you already don't have a good grasp of things and the foundation is not there, it's very easy to be tempted to use these types of tools. So you're banning it, but have you solved the problem on the other end that you need to fix what's going on in the public schools so that they have a good foundation and don't have to use these things to write entire papers. Number two, I think the thing is that it's good to have a preemptive strike, but what are you striking against? They don't even understand this tool and they don't understand what it could possibly do help-wise, how this could be helpful for education systems. I think it's going to be inevitable that tools like these are going to be used. And in that article I read, they did say that faculty can get special permission to use these tools in education, which is great. But I can assure you the overwhelming majority of them, unless they are specifically tech teachers or like tech, they don't understand it, don't want to use it, and like their old ways. And that's not everybody, but I can say for certain that's probably a good amount of teachers. And so they're banning it without even understanding how it could be helpful. So I do agree with students don't need to be using it because they could cheat, but how can you use this for good? And they haven't even investigated it. They're throwing the whole thing away without investigating. Number three, I also think I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the last thing is I also think that with Microsoft getting involved and putting $10 billion into this, here's the thing. First of all, Chat GPT is already not free. After a certain amount of time, you do have to pay for it. But
Correct.
paying is going to be a definite thing. So even though this is like open AI, right? The whole thing is that it's supposed to be like an open source thing. Especially since Microsoft is getting involved, please don't think this is going to be free forever. So I think there'll probably be tiers of different uses. Maybe for enterprise, it would be a lot more, but be for sure that you will be paying for this. So this free GPT will not be free for much longer.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was just going to say that OpenAI is looking and having a premium level where you have to pay, and also, like you said, this people think this thing is free and they're running away having a good time with it. No, this is capitalism. This is a corporation. This is not a charity. You're gonna have to pay. So there'll be, like Dr. Tati said, there'll be different levels. Oops, drop my pen. There's gonna be different levels. There's going to be different levels of payment. There'll be a free tier. And you've seen this on other tools. There's a free tier that you get 5 times. You get 5 free times. And after that, you have to pay, or you have a subscription model or whatever. So that's where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not going to be this free thing that you think you can go and use. And also, what the students have been doing is just copy and pasting. And I said earlier, this is a tool for getting an idea. So you're staring at a blank screen. What do I say? What do I ask? It's supposed to give you ideas. You're not supposed to copy and paste it verbatim. So they've been copying and pasting it and putting it into other tools that wash it and change it and then submitting it as their own. But there's going to be a process where it's going to be trackable, and they're going to go, no, that came from OpenAI or whatever other AI tool. So don't just think this is a runaway train of happiness for making content. No, it's for ideas.
One of the things that Jill sent us was this app was costing $7.99 weekly, $19.99 monthly, and $49.99 annually. So they're already charging for different tiers over there.
Carlos has a couple of comments here. He says, okay, did I not push that button? Carlos said, I just got my doctorate thanks to OpenAI chat app. And he says, agreed, like calculators are used in classes.
Yes.
Yes, calculators at one time, they were trying to make you.
They banned, you couldn't use, there was a time you couldn't use them.
They wouldn't let you use them.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but that's a thing now. It's like,
here's the other thing. And he says, whoops, I just got elected to Congress thanks to Open AI. But does anybody, I don't know, y'all are too young for this. Does anybody remember when the Encyclopedia Britannica came out and they were concerned that people would do plagiarism types of things in writing book reports for school? It's the same thing.
What do they want people to? And to your point, this comes out with every new iteration of technology, because yes, books are technology as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't around when it first came out, but we had encyclopedias too. We had Britannica and the Grolier Book of Knowledge. So the whole thing is that just made it easier to
research, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like I don't know, because especially, people who use encyclopedias tend to be in grade school. Now, the way it's written, that no second grader writes like that. Come on. So it's just a way for you to actually find out the information. Where did you want people to research? That's what I don't get. So I think we are, again, preemptive striking without fully understanding what these things can do. And that happens. That's a great point. Every generation has technology that is the case with.
Right. And Carlos says, I remember calculator watches were banned.
Yeah.
So if it was on your wrist, it was banned. But if you had it in your hand,
of tool, they didn't want you. They wanted you to use paper and pencil in your brain. Nothing else was allowed.
So now when you come in to take the test, you got to put your phone in the box, put your watch in the box, take off your earpods. You got to undress.
Well, they try that here, because it's like here that you could. How do you keep the kids from using the phone? They used to lock them up here years ago in the city schools, but now they stopped because it was like the parents were like, "Well, I need to reach my kid. I need to do this. I need to do that." So it's like, how do you get rid? How do you teach without having the interruption of that kind of tech versus, okay, it had to be focused from the school's perspective. Like if they had a tool, like they use the chatbot GPT for, with a school interface or something. But you're right, you're just banning it outright, where it is a tool just like the encyclopedia for your mind to start. But you didn't, like you said, you didn't copy the encyclopedia.
Exactly.
No.
So the lesson should be more about what constitutes plagiarism and what are the consequences. And now let's use these tools wisely.
Right.
So Carlos also says same thing with Wikipedia.
Yeah. You don't know if you're getting the right information.
Now, here's the thing. If I could add to that, with Wikipedia, first of all, I always tell my students, anybody who uses Wikipedia as their main source, I'm going to give you your paper back because that's not the way you do it. Wikipedia is a great place to start, just like ChatGPT. That's a great place to start. But with Wikipedia, I tell them, look, it's a wiki site, meaning anybody can contribute to it. So there could be all sorts of information that's wrong, and you're regurgitating wrong information. So what you need to do is, first of all, if you're going to look at Wikipedia, it's a great place to start, but then scroll down to the bottom where they actually have sources. Click on those sources and use those as your primary thing. Use Wikipedia as a tool when you've never heard of the concept, you're not familiar with the concept. That gives you a synopsis, and then you go down and do further research. The failure is that students don't really understand what plagiarism is. Also, they don't understand what good primary research is. Honestly, you don't get that until you get in college in a lot of places.
Right.
And so no wonder people are using Wikipedia and things like that. So the failure is also in the systems teaching the children and people in general what plagiarism is and how to conduct good primary research. They don't know. So that's where it has to start.
I think we just need to start earlier because they're on devices earlier.
Right.
What these concepts are, because we were taught these concepts when we started our research papers in elementary school. We were taught to put the references at the bottom and put quotes around stuff.
See, you went to a good school.
I went to a public school in Pennsylvania in a Black neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah, but it was a good school though. See, that's the thing. Sometimes some stuff is getting shirked to the side.
I just think that we keep trimming it down, just like
right.
we had PE. They don't do it.
There is no PE. So I don't know what they're trying to save time on or whatever, but it's really causing things not to be the way it should be, because I do remember having when they said write your story from summer, or if you're talking about this bird or whatever, you need to put it in your own words. I mean, yes, you could read what the definition of the bird is and whatever, but you had to structure a sentence in your own words.
Right.
So I'm just saying, let's just start earlier. Okay, we can move on. I didn't mean to digress.
And I have a couple of comments. I got a couple of comments from Helen Ray, who's joining us on Clubhouse. She said, I thought the open AI is free only at this time because the company is doing research. Definitely paying to play is coming.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Get ready.
And she says she remembers, Terry, the encyclopedia situation. Yeah.
There was an opportunity to cheat then too.
There's always opportunity to cheat. And you can still figure out ways to cheat.
Of course. They'll always cheat. So again, everybody's getting excited over this Chat GPT and Dolly, rightly so. And also the Chat GPT, there's a newer version coming soon. They said that you think it's something now, it's really gonna be something when Chat GPT 4 comes out. So we're on 3.
Oh. Wow.
So there's another version coming out. Again, not free. If they're testing it using us, we're the data, we're the input, and they learn from that, and then you get 5 hits free, and after that you have to pay. So just get ready for it. It's not people are going with it and running like, oh, I'm never having to think of anything or create content again. That's not true. These are for ideas. It's creative tool.
It's just like hiring. It's just saved you time from hiring a copywriter. Just pay them, you know. Carlos said, I asked how I can seduce Selma Hayek. Gave me a list. Working on it now. Come on, Carlos.
Let me check. Mine will be Morris Chestnut. Let me figure out how can I find him. What do I say when I find him?
Y'all funny.
That's funny. Carlos, you gave me a laugh. That was funny. So this, like I said before, I said content is the way we create content is changing. It's going to be a thing this year. You can see it now. It's not even like the middle of January, almost the middle of January, and you see where we're going. There'll be more tools. There'll be more things. Just get ready and hold on.
Yep.
That's it. All right. So let's move on to YouTube. Excuse me. Let me get a little sip of water. Something done. Okay, YouTube new short monetization process is going to start February 1st. So this is their new process for monetizing shorts, which will see revenue from ads displayed between short clips shared among eligible creators in the app. And this is going to start again February 1st. And here's their quote: starting February 1st, 2023, monetizing partners will be able to earn money from ads that are viewed between videos in the shorts feed. This new revenue sharing model will replace the YouTube Shorts Fund. So now they announced this last year that they were going to switch, and all of these platforms, TikTok, Instagram, all of them, Snapchat, we've been talking about it, that they've switched from having a fund, and they're switching into something else because they saw how much money they had to pay out. They didn't think they were going to do that. Snapchat was the first one that was like giving out $1 million a day, and they was like, whoa, wait a minute, we didn't think we would be paying this much.
Yes.
Let's roll it back. So here we are getting into another level of content creation and with creators. So, just some things to think about. So that's what's going on with YouTube. Okay, before I get there. Speaking of TikTok, there's a couple things going on with them. There's still, the ban talks are still going on.
Yes.
Nothing major yet. But in the meantime, TikTok has launched a talent manager portal. So managers can negotiate brand deals for clients. So see, this ties into the previous story where there's not that creator fund from the app is not coming, or they're reducing it. So now creators are looking at, okay, how can we make money? How can we monetize our videos since we're not doing it over here? So TikTok is saying they're having a creator, the update to the creator marketplace that now invites talent managers to oversee, execute, and analyze the brand opportunities and campaigns being presented to their clients. So this week they introduced the new talent manager portal as part of the TikTok creator marketplace. This is their marketplace, is their platform where they allow brands and agencies to connect with all the creators that use TikTok. So this new service allows talent managers to log into creator marketplace to manage deal flow, negotiate contracts on behalf of their talent, handle the creative feedback, and review various reports and metrics about a campaign's performance. So it's really a place where they can go and see the metrics, so they don't have to rely on the creator's work. There'll be actual evidence, proof of, okay, it got this many views, it got this many, this, that, and that, all that be in this talent manager portal. Excuse me. TikTok has said that it's in alpha. This portal's alpha testing. It's a free service, has several agencies already lined up, and they are not really talking too much about it. So it's really in testing mode, but this is what's coming with TikTok. So this is brand deals, brand sponsorships. All right, Instagram. Instagram has been busy. They've updated their UI, their user interface. That's what you see when you go into the app. So they're taking away the shop tab from the bottom. They're putting a shortcut called creating content. It will be the plus sign in the middle. So right now, I think the Reels button is there. Let me check real quick.
Yeah, okay. No wonder I went in there.
Yeah.
I was confused.
So at the bottom is home, magnifying glass, the Reels tab, shopping, a shopping bag, and then your profile. So in the middle, instead of that Reels tab, it's going to be a plus tab. And who has a plus tab? I think YouTube has one in their app when you want to make a short and stuff.
It's yeah, and
so you tap it and then you get a menu. So in that plus, their Instagram is going to put their plus in the middle, move Reels over and get rid of shopping. So when you tap that plus, that's when you go in to create your content, like your stories, Reels, all that other stuff.
Instead of plus, are they moving the plus from the top where it normally was?
Yeah. Okay, that's where I saw the plus. The plus is at the top, so that's going to be at the bottom.
Okay.
So they're moving the shopping tab out of the way.
Oh, okay.
On Instagram. Okay.
So here's their little quote. You'll still be able to set up and run your shop on Instagram as we continue to invest in shopping experiences that provide the most value for people and businesses across feeds, stories, reels, ads, and more. So what is going on is that, and remember, I think TikTok got rid of their shopping thing that they had because in the last 2 years, you know, it was a pandemic, so people weren't going out shopping, and then they were doing it online, and all the apps got greedy. It was like, oh, people are gonna be shopping online forever and not ever going to the stores. But we see that now is not true. So they're seeing that, you know, the shopping tab isn't working as well as they need it to be. So just move it out the way and let's push Reels to the front. So that's what they're doing.
Carlos says, I have a shop and it's great.
Okay.
Right. They're not getting rid of the shopping feature. They're just moving the tab at the bottom. So if you've already set up your shop, like Carlos has his, he's going to be good because people that follow him his feed know that he's selling things and they're going to see it on, on the posts and stuff. So it's still there. It's just moving back, and Reels is moving to the front as far as the navigation on the bottom. So they're saying this new interface will roll out soon to all users. I don't know when it's coming, so just keep a lookout.
Dr. Chachi?
May I ask, oh great one, TJ, why they are moving things around?
Because shopping isn't the shopping online experience as they envisioned it 2 years ago. And like I said, they got greedy thinking it was going to be the big bang thing, and the app didn't happen. Happened with TikTok and somebody else. Was it Pinterest? I can't remember. But they have rolled back on the I think it was TikTok that had a live shopping.
They did, and they took that away.
Because it didn't generate as much interest or revenue or whatever for them. So they're moving the focus away from it. It's still there for Instagram. It's just that, okay, they're going all in Reels. They're really pushing it Reels now, like Reels everything. So they're like, okay, we're going to move that shop tab out the way because it ain't really doing nothing for us. But if you got a shop, you're okay. They're not getting rid of it. They're just, it's not there. You would have to be following someone who has a shop.
So
or you do an ad and sends them right to your shop, which is really a win for them because you're doing an ad.
Right.
Or you do a QR code and send them over there.
Right. But you're doing something to where it's remember, it's all about generating revenue for the app. It's not about your happiness or how you like to use the app. They could care less.
Okay.
And they've shown that time of years. They've shown that for years. They don't care.
And that's why it's free. They get to do what they want.
And Carlos says he does lives with the shop. Okay, good. See? Carlos is working it. But it's just that it's not going to be at the bottom, which I don't really pay attention that much to the bottom menu. Does anybody really?
Nope.
So
I got to be in there to pay attention to it. So
I was like, oh yeah, the shop tab is there. I don't think I've ever tapped it.
Well, because there's nothing I'm necessarily shopping for when I go in on the first thing. I'm not going to the store.
Right. But see how Carlos is doing it. He's doing lives. If you follow him and he does a live, you're going to go to the live and then you're going to see the stuff that he's talking about. I'm pretty sure he can say, go to this post where he's got everything tagged, or go to the link in bio, or go to this button on the menu on my profile to buy. Think of it as Amazon live shopping. Everybody's doing that now, live streaming. And they're selling products. It's kind of like that, except Instagram is saying we're not going to direct people to that shop tab, which I'm just saying I never paid attention to it. Maybe others did, but I never did. Because like Fran says, we're not there to shop. But this is the beauty of Instagram, is that you're there for other things and you're scrolling and you come across my shop.
Right. At that point, you need to be stoppable, and then somebody wants to go shop on. But I don't. The first stop is not. Oh, I'm going to go look for the shopping
That's
button.
not the first destination. What are people on Instagram for? Entertainment. And if you entertain them, and then you do a live, and Carl, see, that's smart. He does a live. So if I follow him from entertaining posts, engaging posts that he had previously, which were non-shoppable, then I follow him. Then he does a live, and I go, oh, Carlos is live, and I go over, and he's talking about things that he's selling, and directing call to action, directing them where they can get these things from. So, but Instagram is saying we're not going to feature that shop button. You're gonna have to find it. The business owners, shop owners have to be really creative. Again, is that word creative in attracting people? Think, Carnival Barker, at the circus. You got to be that. Come on in. I'm over here with the lions, or we got the clowns over there. You got to do that. Because Instagram is like, we're not going to put that shop button there. So you're going to have to do that or run ads, which they want you to run ads because that's more money in their pockets. And Facebook is hurting. They are. They might, a couple billion over here. That's hurting for them. So, that's what's going on with Instagram. So they're updating the menu at the bottom if we care. Okay. Also from
Dr.
Like I said, I never paid it. I knew it was there, but I never went to it. It's like I think we were talking about the mall this week, and about how people, when they go to the mall, or used to go to the mall, when they would go different things, different specialty shops, and then you had the anchor shops and stuff like that. So it's like, who's going to the mall? Not as much. Okay, so more from Facebook or Meta or whatever they're calling themselves. Meta is shutting down the Creator Studio page management app. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it. Creator Studio was the section where creators could go and make content for their pages and things easily without being on the page. It was like
Did you say easily?
Well, that was their thinking. But that's their thinking. But now they're shutting it down because they got this big Meta, the Business Suite app that they want you to use. The Business Suite.
Wait this more.
Yeah, because whatever.
So they want you to go to Business Suite. So when you go in, Facebook is warning users that Creator Studio is going away soon. The company said that users will be able to find dedicated tools for creators in the Meta Business Suite, which is also a platform for managing Facebook pages and Instagram business accounts. Now, I do like the Meta Business Suite because if you have several pages and your Instagram and all that other stuff, it's all in there. So you don't have to go. And then because Facebook made this thing where your page is a profile now. So when you want to look for a page, they say, oh, you're switching profiles. I'm like, what? So they're confusing it where if you have to manage different pages in the Facebook main app. So now I have used the Meta Business Suite for a long while. I can't remember when I started. So they have an app. And then also if you go to business.facebook.com, we'll take you to the Meta Business Suite. And everything is there. Every tool, every analytic thing you want to look at, if you want to create a post or a reel or a story, it's all in there. But it's for the management of Facebook pages and Instagram business page. I think you have to have a business profile for it to go into business Meta Business Suite. But they're closing Creator Studio. And when if you use Creator Studio, because there's a different way to get to it, now they're directing you to Meta Business Suite.
Okay.
So again, Facebook confusing the situation, but it is a good tool.
Right.
So here's what they had to say. We're actively working to bring Meta's creator tools together in one place. You can access all of your content and data when you switch. After trying the new creator experience in Meta Business Suite, you can switch back to Creator Studio for now. But then when they shut it down, you're stuck in Meta Business Suite. So it's a good tool. But if you're more of a creator versus a business page owner, creators are going to be like, well, this is kind of businessy, but it's a good tool. So that's what's going on with Meta. Now, the last few stories is Twitter.
Okay.
Let me find Twitter. All right. So now Twitter, and I saw this because I'm still using Twitter, even though I'm like, okay, it's not gonna last. But I'm still using it because it's news and fun and everything. But I went in and I was like, why do I have 3 feeds at the top? So now what they're doing is a TikTok-like feed called For You. Yes, this is what Muskie, that's what I'm calling him. Muskie is doing. And I don't understand it. It's supposed to bring you people that you're not following or people that you're following that you engage with, and it's the first thing you see. I tap on the following. So right now it says For You following, and then if you have a list, like I have a list and I named it, my list is there. But so let's get to what Muskie is doing. So Twitter has started to roll out a big change, and this is on iOS on the app. What's that?
Dr. Tachi.
Is it good? So they're rolling out the change on iOS by replacing the sparkle button that switches between the algorithm and reverse chronological feeds. Now you swipe between 2 tabs called For You and Following to change your timeline, and you'll always see the For You tab first when you open the tab. So of course they took this from TikTok. And it used to be called Homes. Now it shows tweets from accounts you follow out of order, along with algorithmically selected tweets from others you may like. So this is what Muskie is up to, and I'm like, don't do that, because I had my thing set up the way I like it. It's chronological, and now you're messing with it. So
yeah,
what he's doing is in his iOS only. So if you're on Android, you probably still see the home and following, I think is what it was called. And then there was a little the sparkly button there was a little icon at the top right that you could tap, and it would switch between I think most recent or most viewed. I forgot what it was, because I never tapped it.
Okay.
But this is what Muskie is doing. Another thing Muskie is doing, Muskie needs some money. So Twitter's considered selling usernames at an auction.
Is that how he plans to do it? I saw that headline.
Okay, so
how much would you pay for the Twitter handle that you want?
Nothing.
Me, I agree, 0. So they have unused Twitter handles that are freed up, like they haven't been used in years. And they're trying to figure out how to release them but make money. So they're discussing holding an auction for these @ handles as another means to generate income for the company. And this is reported by the New York Times. They're saying Twitter has considered selling usernames to generate new revenue as its owner, Muskie, tries to resuscitate the company's business. Engineers have discussed running online auctions where people can bid for the usernames. Now, this username thing is big business. They're saying, so this is also the Times. They're saying people will sometimes take, they will go to a new social media network early, make an account, and squat on a name, like a certain handle, so they can, brands have to pay them for it.
And yeah, we've seen that with domain names,
right? So that's what they were doing. So this is what's going on. Also, Twitter has some stuff going on. Muskie hasn't paid the rent. He owes $136,000 in unpaid rent on the Twitter building. He hasn't paid a marketing firm. A couple other things. They have not been cleaning the bathrooms. They ran out of toilet paper, all kind of stuff. So that's
he's
what's
not
going on
paying,
in Muskie
he's
land.
not paying the janitors, huh?
That's what's going on in Muskie land. So, he's got people staying there. They're not cleaning the place, not paying the rent. Something else I heard today, I forgot what it was. It was like on top, piled on top of top of top. So that's what's going on in Muskie land, as I call him. Because remember, Twitter is now privately owned. He doesn't have to report anything. He can do what he wants to do. He releases new things by tweeting. We don't know if he's serious or not.
Going on here, but okay.
Oh, we don't know if he's serious or not, so I don't take him seriously.
Okay.
So, what do we think of Twitter?
I think he's using it the way I've always been using it, and I'm like, you know what, y'all can do whatever you're doing over there.
Whatever. We're there until they blab us. Remember what they did? Remember what Blab did?
Yeah.
They turned the lights out on us.
Well, they ghost us, yeah.
People were live streaming. They was like, bloop. So I don't know what to tell you.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I think, who was it that just said that? Was you, Carolina, who said you're just using it the way you always use it, right?
No, it was me.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know where I am. I don't know what day is that. So you use it the way you always use it, and I think that goes for any technology. Yep. They can put out things, and they can really, what they do, even if that's what they intend for us to do, they're really just recommendations. We're going to do what we want to do with them anyhow, and how we want to use them. So if the way is to people, okay, we're doing real. Some people are like, well, I don't care. I'm still just posting images. It depends on what your goals are. But based on that and what your goals are, you're going to use it the way it works for you. So that was a very important point that they can do. Yeah, Mr. Muskie, as we like to call him.
Muskie.
Can do what he likes.
Muskie land.
We're still going to use it the way we want.
Oh, yeah, Twitter's still hanging around. I mean, it looks like, things are shaky and the lights are flashing on and off and the bathrooms are horrible and he hasn't paid the rent, but it's still running. I know what it was. This morning, the Twitter API broke for some third-party apps. I think that's what I read this morning. Let me double check. So that's what's going on. It's just pile on top of pile. So again, we're riding till the wheels fall off. Twitter's still open. The lights are still, still on. So I'm there until I go there, and it's like it doesn't. And what happened to Twitter? Oh well, then I'm gonna move on to something else. Like everybody else, and like Dr. Tachi's right. You're gonna use it the way you want to use it.
There you go.
And also, here's another thing from Muskie land. He's closed a lot of Twitter international offices in Asia and Europe. So make of that what you will. I mean, he's not paying bills. He's closing offices. Got rid of 75% of the workers. The app is still running for now. So every day it's a new thing in Musk land. And that's it. That's your social media news update for the week.
Okay. All Right. All righty, daddy. So, Dr. Tachi, let's go. Okie dokie.
Are they? Oh, you're.
Hold on, let me turn my volume up. Oh.
Yep, your headphones.
My headphones?
No, mine.
No. Carolina. Muskyland.
Well, welcome everybody to the Mediascope is still on hiatus until like sometime in February. So the good thing is I have this that keeps me current.
Uh-oh.
Okay, hold on.
I don't hear anything. Hold on.
I don't know. There is this whole thing about AI, right? And this whole thing about what is not. An AI VTuber who now has 70,000 followers on Twitch. Okay, so her name or his name is her name is Nurasama. I think I'm hearing
We
it.
have feedback. Hold on, Dr. Tachi.
Okay.
Okay, I am not a moderator on Clubhouse.
Got an echo.
Okay. Now, Fran, you would want to close your mic and I'll open mine. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Tachi, I think we're ready.
Okay, there we go. So in this strain of this AI thing that we've been talking about, I would say there's a VTuber who now has 70,000 followers on Twitch. Her or its name is Neurosama. And they're asking, this is according to TubeFilter, is she or it the future of entertainment? Because the numbers, 70,000, suggest that she's on an upward trajectory. And so basically her name implies that she's a neural network with a VTuber, like a YouTuber style type face. Her creator is anonymous and goes by the title Vidal, and has garnered this substantial following on Twitch on the channel Vidal 987. Neurosama streams games like Minecraft, and her gameplay is so strong that it doesn't give her away as AI initially.
Wow.
Exactly. And her abilities are actually fascinating enough to draw more than, like I said, over 70,000 followers on Twitch are following an AI made-up thing, okay? So the creator doesn't reveal too many details about this because, of course, it could spawn a lot of copycats.
Yes.
But according to Motherboard, this character has been in development since 2018. And this version of Neurosama has arrived in 2022. Her, quote, brain was constructed with the help of a large language model that takes text from across the web, okay? So you see how this is relevant to what we were talking about with ChatGPT, etc. So all of these things are basically an amalgamation of what already exists on the web, and they're just brought together to form this. So that's what Neurosama is, right? Basically.
Wow.
So Vidal told Motherboard, I made her a Twitch streamer so that she can interact with her audience in real time. A lot of the fun comes from her interactions with the Twitch chat. I think fans play an important role in her success and how fun her streams are. Having the interactions with Twitch chat are what makes her entertaining to watch. Without that, I don't think she would be as successful. So this is telling us that the interaction with the audience is key. That's what makes any of this work. Human interaction, right? At the end of the day, it's the human interaction that makes any of this work. So I found that really interesting since we were talking about this. I said, oh, I saw this article. So yeah, the next time you're playing on Twitch and you're playing a, another streamer, it may not be a live streamer.
Wow.
It could be AI. All right. Let's talk a little bit about, okay, so before I talk about that, who watched the Golden Globe? Raise your hand and tell the truth.
Not I.
Not I.
Okay. I didn't either. Highlights, the highlights of the Golden Globe, because you all already know, I feel that there are way too many award shows. They're not for us. They are to reward Hollywood for their good work. Good for you, but I don't want to sit and watch you for 3 hours. But, of course, the powers that be have determined that this is probably an effective way to get advertising dollars for these types of things, so they make money. Okay, but guess what? Is it really making money if your views continue to go down? Because, now remember, this is the first time they have been back since before the pandemic and before all the wahala of the lack of diversity, right? That was the whole reason the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, they took a break to stand back and see what they were doing. I didn't really see that much of a difference this year beyond the fact that Abbott Elementary garnered all those awards, but whatever, fine.
Right.
If that's diversity to you, whatever you like. So, the views were down. Viewing was down 10%. So, from the last time they held it. So, is this not, perhaps I'm the dummy here. Perhaps I'm the one that's not too bright. If you continuously see a drop, wouldn't that cause you to think of how else can we do this and still be effective? That's a lot of money to spend for, we may say 10% viewing is, not a big deal, but it is when you're talking about the numbers of people that could watch, right? And then that also means that there could be advertisers that be like, I don't know if this is such a wise use of our money because your viewing keeps going down. So we're going to investigate other avenues to where we put our products.
See, Dr. Tachi, you hit it. That's where you hit it right there. They are not looking at other ad spend. They're focused, and they've been focused for years on running ads on a TV show. When lots of people, Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this a lot, how the ad agencies, the advertising world is not looking at anything other than running an ad on TV because they get to do the creative ones and they feel like they get the money out of it, which that doesn't work. So they're not looking, they see the number of viewership going down, but they're going, but this used to work. It used to work so well. And anything else we do, we got to put our mind to it and think about how to reach people online, and they're not there. So that's why they're still hanging on to these award shows. Is SAG coming up? Is something coming up now? And nobody's watching these things, but they're so locked in, and the advertising agencies do this too, that they're like, oh, this is the best way for you to reach 18 to 34 male, this and that is TV, when we know they're not watching TV. So they're all like running over there, patting each other on the back, not looking at what's coming. That's what it is.
Well, you know what, TJ, we may be going full circle because this thing of having all of these a la carte TV channels is starting to add up to more than cable was.
Right. Cable but what I'm saying is that the audience they want is not watching streaming either. They're on TikTok and YouTube and social media, which they're reluctant to do because it takes more creative on top, and they're not willing to do that. This is what they do. They want to have the advertising agency hire a thing, and they make one commercial. They cost this much money into the budget for the commercial, and then they spew that thing out over and over, which that doesn't work, and it's still stuck in that mindset.
You could do it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, my dear.
Huh? I could what?
I said, go ahead.
What?
No, I thought you were still talking. I didn't mean to.
No. I could say more, but I wanted to hear your response.
Okay. My response is you could do a 3-minute TikTok and cover the entire Golden Globes in one TikTok. You could do an entire reel and cover the entire thing, and I would be satisfied.
Yes.
I would be satiated. The thing is,
Yes.
when I look at these accounts, because I look at their accounts, they all have accounts on social media. I don't know who quite is running them, but I'm like, you know what? You're not covering the essence of, and I understand why, maybe, because maybe they're told, you know, okay, well, this is what we're looking for. And their strategy is as a support to the telecast instead of being the telecast.
Yes. That's it. That's it.
I
Exactly.
don't know who. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it. You're right. And you notice you're in media that they're stuck in, okay, we gotta put and the thing is, we talk about the movie theaters where they make a movie and they want, well, you better go to the movies and see it, when we don't want to do that. Or, you know, you gotta make a big budget commercial and put it on during the Super Bowl or this or that. And those things don't work because the audience they want, like you said, is on TikTok. And that's why you see all of these kids that do a wrap up of of whatever event. They do a 3-minute wrap up, and that thing gets billions of views. Why? Because they've done it in a creative way. It's entertaining, and it's 3 minutes, and it's on TikTok. But they have a presence on social media, but they don't understand how to use it because they're still focusing everything in making one commercial and like we did something, when nobody cares, when everything now is 3 minutes, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 3-minute snippets on TikTok or reels, and that gets the most eyeballs now, and they're not there. I'm done.
Absolutely. I think that I keep saying this, and I say this every week, and I feel like a broken record, a broken CD, a corrupted MP3. I feel like I say this all the time, that the person, look, of last year, and I have to put this down because on Monday I'm going to be on Dr. Vibe show again, continuing on with what happened in media in 2022, but also what's happening in media in 2023. Good. One of the things that's going on that list is what our good friend, the guru Fat Joe, said. He said, yesterday's price is not today's price. And I use that for everything. Yesterday's media is not today's media. Yesterday's ad spend is not today's ad spend. And until you get yourself out of that way of thinking, that antiquated way of thinking, you will always have 10% less this year, 15% down this year, because they don't see themselves as the problem. You are the problem. You refuse to pick up a tool and do something a different way. And it's not just them. This is a lot of different fields. But since we're talking media, we can see this. Media is risk adverse, which is why they don't like change, because changing means taking a risk from something that they know that works. But what happens is when you don't change, you're not paying attention to who the newcomers are into the space, both consumers and creators. And then you end up behind the 8 ball because you refuse to change and you weren't watching who was coming in.
Right.
Well, the same thing happened with Blockbuster and Netflix. They were like, oh, whatever, we do stuff. And then the newcomers come in and obliterate you. Yeah. So I think if they're really trying to survive, if linear is trying to survive, they have got to take lessons from social media and watch what other people are doing. Go ahead.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. They're not looking at, okay, where's the attention? We're not watching TV. If we're watching TV, we're streaming, and then that's a certain age group. The 18 to 34, a device. That's what they're looking at, not a TV, a device. Because guess what? I gotta go here, there. The phone, the device travels with me, and that's how you get their attention. They're not there yet, so I don't know what they're thinking, but the numbers don't lie. Like the Grammy, even the Grammys and the American, all of these other, and the music shows, which used to get huge rate, they're all down too. Every single one of them. Wow. Because now, and you know, a part of that is now I can see my favorite entertainer anytime I want. It used to be, remember Remember Prince on TV, Michael Jackson on TV, and that was the only place you could see them. Now I could pick up my whatever device, I can get them on my watch. I could whenever I want. So it's like, oh, they're on the Grammys, and I don't want to watch that. Nope, and they move on.
Exactly. And also all these celebrities also have some sort of social media presence. So you get to see them, like you said, whenever you want. It is not like, oh, let me stay up past my bedtime so I can watch Michael Jackson on the American Music Awards. Nobody cares about that. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Okay, that is the mantra of the year too.
I love that. You're so right. You're so right. This is what it is. So if you have older if you have older ways of thinking at the top, I'm not even gonna say age. It's just because older people can change their thoughts and have fresh new ideas that can reach a younger audience. It's that you have to want to. So they're not wanting to. They're just poo-pooing it and going, oh, they're on TikTok. Oh, they're just dancing. It's not about that. That's the attention, and it blew up in the last 2-3 years. So why would you ignore that? If you're in the business of I need eyeballs because I need to sell this to make revenue to make that, you go to where the attention is. You don't care where it is. You don't have to love it. You don't have to love TikTok, but that's where every teenager is. Every 20, 30 years old, even older. We talked about that a while, but they're not getting it. So I don't know if they ever get it, but they're still on that, they're still on that boat and it's got a hole in it and they're like, everything's fine. No, it's not. You're sinking.
Vigorously taking a bucket.
They're like, everything's fine. No, it's fine. It's not fine.
I'm okay.
So,
Absolutely.
well,
Well, speaking. Sorry. Go ahead.
Award shows, like you said, I used to watch them all the time. Now it's like, oh, is that thing on? And I was like, well, I could just get the highlights, and I got the highlights off of social media, and I was happy because I saw the and I have to watch his movie, the Everything All at Once actor. He was the little short rib from Indiana Jones, and he got up there and he won Best Supporting Actor, and his speech was just like, wow. 30 years from being a kid to now, and he wins an award, and he's there with Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
Who Steven Spielberg put him in the movie. He was the little kid in Harris, the Indiana Jones. Short rib, short something. The little Asian kid that had all the good lines. Well, he's he didn't get any roles, and then I believe he went to film school or something, because Mario Armstrong did a whole thing about his background, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that he went to film school or something, and then he saw Crazy Rich Asians, which was a good movie, and he was like, oh, this I gotta work with, I gotta find a way back in, and he did, and now here it is. So I was just like, listening to his speech was very inspiring, but I didn't have to watch the show. Also, Jennifer Coolidge, her stuff was all over the Twitter and everywhere, and I just watched it there.
Yes.
The appointment TV is done, and if that's what they're, these advertisers and media spin people are looking, we're not appointment TV anymore. I watch when I have time and it's available to me because I know where to find it because it's on social media. Boom.
Exactamundo. So you're absolutely right. And to the stream of award shows, yay! The SAG Awards coming next year. Netflix is going to live stream them in 2024.
Really?
They are set to stream them live globally beginning next year. And this announcement comes before the announcement of the award nominees for individual cast and ensemble performances. And this this came before. This was revealed 2 days ago, who those nominees were. So they said, SAG-AFTRA said, we are thrilled to embark on this exciting new partnership with Netflix, and we look forward to expanding the global audience for our show. Not if you do it the same way you always do. But, so if you didn't know, the SAG Awards have only been around since 1995. The award presentation debuted in 1995, but they've since moved to TNT and more recently TBS. And they stated in May that collaboration with TNT was ending. So this will be the 29th annual SAG Awards. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever watched
coming up is going to be on February 26th at 8 p.m. Isn't that lovely?
I don't think I've ever watched the SAG Awards. I mean, I know about them.
First of all, I'm not even SAG, so I'm boycotting. I'm not boycotting. I'm just tired of hearing my voice all over because I'm not SAG. So that's what happens when you're a voice talent and you do non-union stuff. They could use it to infinity. I still hear my voice, but if I was SAG, I would be getting paid for each time they heard my voice. So they are very useful. They're the Screen Actors Guild, and then AFTRA is for voice actors, and the two merged. I can't remember how long it's been now, but it hasn't been too long since they merged. So yeah, SAG, AFTRA, if you're hearing this, I need a card. Anyway. So that's what's happening with that. You'll be able to watch the SAG Awards on Netflix starting next year. Let's talk about Harry and Meghan. Yay!
Yay!
All right.
Okay, so Nielsen. Well, first of all, how about that book? Has anybody read the book? What Spare? Has anybody read that yet?
No.
Yeah, I started reading a little. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. What have you thought so far about it? First of all, if you don't know, Spare is the story of, that's the memoir of Prince Harry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he talks about basically that he was a spare to Prince William.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And he think, okay, you're the secondary.
You're the backup.
So apparently, you're the backup. Exactly. You're the background dancer.
You're background dancer.
So what did you think? What are you thinking so far?
Okay, so I will say this because I followed the news stories and the interviews on CBS and Anderson Cooper and stuff like that. And I think the Spanish version of the book leaked a couple days before the Tuesday release. So all of the newspapers in the UK got it and had somebody translate it, which I mean, you can't really do that because it's written differently for another language, and then they picked out salacious things and ran with it as truth. But then the book came out and it was like, oh, okay, it's not like how they said over there. So that's one thing I want to point out. Don't ever take it for granted that when you hear a story, any story on the media, investigate for yourself. Don't just take what's being spoon-fed to you because there's an agenda. Number two, the book is very well written. It's a good read. I know he had a ghostwriter, but it's a good read. If you've ever been curious about Princess Diana and then like her death and then like her sons and what happened to her sons after that funeral, because the world saw them walk behind her, the cortege, and we went about our lives, but they were like, okay. So you'll be shocked. I was shocked to find out that the things that happened after that day when the funeral, and it's like, okay, I'm going about my life. Those kids, those two princes are good. They're golden. They got money and this and that. It's not like that. So I'll say that. So I'm a kind of person that I will hear, oh, somebody tells me a story. I'm like, no, I'm going to investigate for myself, and then I decide. So I'm reading it. It's a good read. He does go into like what happens from that day forward, and his teenagers, and he was in the military and blah blah blah. And then it's a good read. I think it's a good read. But there's division out there because once you get out in media and you're bombarding people with things, there's a backlash. But I don't think you should follow that. But that's just me.
I agree. I think everybody's going to form their
and
own
also
opinion.
Wait, one more thing. It's his story. So I see a lot of people going, he's lying. Fact check. It's his version of of his truth. How could he be wrong? It's his story. It's like if you wrote your story and somebody came around and said, "Oh, it didn't happen like that. You're crazy. You're this." I'm like, but I lived it. It's my story. You take it or leave it. So that's what I'll say. It's his story.
And everybody has their own perception and
Yes.
their own experiences.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And they're all valid.
Yes.
In the words of Sheree Whitfield from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, who gonna check me, boo?
Exactly.
That.
Yeah, so that, I mean, it was a good, it's a good read. I'm still reading it. It's a good read. I'm interested because I'm always interested in stuff like that, and it has a history to me because it has a history connection because of the Princess Diana thing. Then I was like, okay, I want to read this because it's the part of it. It's history, but there's the personal side of it, and the press has run with the frostbite thing and the this thing and the killing the town. You go and you're in the military. What are you there to pick daisies? You're there to get rid of the enemy.
Hello?
Duh. Right.
Duh.
That's basically
So,
the job description.
Yeah, a lot of it is craziness, and you know, you gotta look through the craziness. But yeah, it is what it is. That's what I think.
It is what it is. Absolutely. Look through the crazy. That's a good mantra for 2023. Look through the crazy.
I always look through the crazy.
When in doubt, look through the crazy. So speaking of that, you know, I wanted to find out who has read Spare so far, because this coincides obviously with the release of the documentary on Netflix. So according to Variety, here's the Nielsen streaming top 10 that Harry and Meghan, they debuted at position number 4 last week, but they've risen to second place on Nielsen's weekly streaming rankings with a debut in its second set of 3 episodes. So the series was watched for 1.7 billion minutes. Yeah, man.
Woohoo! Say that again. Say that again. Say that number again.
1.7 billion minutes. Don't ask me how much that is in hours. My math skills are not that strong. So
that sounds like a lot. Go ahead.
If anybody has a band calculator, go ahead and figure that out.
Woo!
So, during this happened during the week of December 12th through 18th, that viewing window. And then this marks a 34% increase in viewership from the December 5th through 11th viewing window, which included the first 4 days of availability of the first 3 episodes. So Harry and Meghan was only second to Wednesday, which we know is the Addams Family offshoot starring Jenna Ortega, and that is now in its 4th week in the number 1 position with 2.2 billion minutes watched.
Wow.
For Wednesday.
Wow.
Yes.
My granddaughter was watching that last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So now here's the funny thing. So you have Harry and Meghan, Wednesday. Guess what's number 3?
Thursday.
I can't imagine.
I'm just messing. What is it?
Well, you should know, because if those of you who have preschoolers, you would know this.
Oh, Coco Melon.
Coco Melon.
What's Coco Melon? Is that an animated?
It's
it's an animated preschool series.
Okay.
Yes. And I mean, when she comes home, she wants to see Coco Melon when she comes home from daycare.
Woo! I bet parents love that Coco Melon. You can put your kid in front of it.
It is so good, and it's everywhere. It's on YouTube.
I'm gonna have to look at that. I like animated stuff. Let me check out what it is. Even though I don't have any
Take a look. Well, don't feel bad, because I used to remember Maisie the Mouse.
Yes, I do.
Okay. I used to sit there and watch Maisie the Mouse with my grown self. So,
some of the animated stuff is good. Some of the animated stuff is good.
Yeah, and Coco Melon is educational. It's teaching counting. It's teaching colors. It's teaching sizing.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out, because I like I like to know stuff. So
educational bend to it, and then it also has Baby Shark on.
Oh no, it got Baby Shark.
They do a Baby Shark.
Oh my goodness.
I know this because I have a 3-year-old in the house. He just turned 3. So, we got 2 to 3 years old. And she has a preference in her electronics. She will not do a generic tablet. We bought her a little
iPad
tablet because she was only 2.
Right.
She wants the iPad. She so got her an iPad.
She's like, y'all, I want the iPad.
What is this?
Don't give me that kitty thing. Don't give me that kitty device.
Yeah, just jump right over.
I know. I want what the adults use. I know.
I want a pencil. I want the whole thing. So yeah.
Wow.
Cocoa Melon.
And it's interesting because that was the only children's program on the top 10 streaming.
Really?
So so it was Wednesday, and the first 6 are all Netflix for this week. So Wednesday, Harry and Meghan was 2nd. Cocoa Melon is 3rd. NCIS is 4th on Netflix.
Okay.
The Recruit on Netflix is 5th.
Okay.
6th is HBO Max's The White Lotus. 7th is Netflix as well, which is The Prisoners from 2013.
Okay.
8th is HBO Max, Friends. 9th is Hulu's Criminal Minds. And 10th is Netflix's Firefly. So Netflix is strong on this week's top streaming programs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. You know what I noticed about Netflix is that they have whatever programming they're putting out in December has strong ratings. Like they did the Bridgerton, and the Bridgerton stuff was because we were in lockdown, and then it was like, okay, everybody watching it. But I think they might be setting up a thing where their December programming is like, okay, this is our strongest month. Do you feel like that?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Because of the holidays and people have more time to watch. So I think Netflix is hooking on to their December month being like the month where they put out the blockbuster thing, Yeah.
I think so. Definitely. This happens if we look at traditionally the way media works. They put things out on a schedule around major events, definitely when people are going to be off. So we look at all the big blockbuster movies usually get released during the summer. That's when children are out of school, etc.
Yeah.
So that happens. Christmas movies, of course, and holiday movies, you start seeing them coming November, right? So they kind of schedule these types of things around big events. Same thing with, if we look at a lot of these, what has started to happen with some of these newer things, like, the live from a studio audience type thing that they were doing on ABC. Also, the ABC and NBC live musicals. Those all coincide with larger events, the holidays, Easter, those types of things, Passover. They all coincide with those events. So it makes sense. But I think that the future of content is making every day an event.
Yeah.
Making every day an event. So if I am so stuck on only doing things during holidays, do I only want to make money during holidays? Which means that my projections have to be that much higher so that I can float myself the rest of the year. Well, no. Make every day something special. Every day something to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree. Every day it should be a special. It's not okay. Well, we're going to save it for December. We're going to save it for the summer. And because the patterns of habits of watching and paying attention have changed because of devices. Wherever we go, we can watch whatever we want.
Thank you. I mean, do you see people on TikTok? Oh, well, I'm only going to scroll on Christmas Day. No, wake up scrolling.
I'm only going to go on Christmas Day. They're there all day, every day.
Exactly. So you have to think about content that same sort of way. Influencers and creators, we don't wait. We may do things special because of different holidays coming up. Yes, but that doesn't mean we don't consider every day a special day. And we still put the content out there. But and people watch. People watch. And sometimes the highest rated or the most viewed stuff is the everyday stuff and not always the things connected to holidays. Or so
Yeah,
That's what the majors need to look at. But
they definitely.
alas, they probably won't.
They won't, because they're still stuck in their rut of, this is how we always did it. It worked for 50 years. Let's keep doing it. So that's how they're thinking.
All right, no problem. Keep doing it that way. No problem. So let's keep moving on. I just have a few more stories that I'd like to share with you. So, all right, let's talk. This is interesting. Vice reported on a blockbuster New York Times story that about the war in Russia and some Russian soldiers, but this investigation by the New York Times that actually happened in September of 2022 inadvertently exposed the phone numbers of Russian soldiers, as well as apparent civilian family members that they were speaking to. And some of them opposed the war.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So some of them were providing a very frank assessment of the ongoing war in Ukraine. And I said Russian war. It's the war in Ukraine, forgive me. And blunt criticisms of their superiors, including President Putin himself.
Oh, no.
Wow.
So this exposure potentially put people at risk for, reprisal from their own government and from other third parties.
Oh, treason?
Exactly. Treason, anyone? Exactly. So these highlights, it's not just during wartime that they pose risks, but also security hazards that can be posed by journalists handling the leaked information. So last week, for example, there were dozens of Russian soldiers that were killed as in an attack by Ukraine forces. The Kremlin said that they were targeted based on their cell phone data.
Wow.
So this is really critical. I think that here's the thing: all of us, whether we're on TikTok, whether we are on Clubhouse, on Facebook Live, whatever you're choosing to stream, if you're talking about current events or you give the whole thing news. News actually refers to new. That's where the word news comes from. What's new? So it's just news, right? Everything that is new. So, but that's when people say that's news to me. It's something that's new to you. So whenever you're recording something that is new or new stuff or news, you are a journalist, whether you're trained or a citizen journalist, you are. And you have to be very careful with the information that has been entrusted to you, the information that you are putting out there. And not everybody is, but I'm saying that's what you're supposed to do whenever you're when you're reporting on anything. It doesn't matter what it is, even if it's beauty hacks. Be sure it's not going to take off your left nostril, okay? Be sure of that. So, in that case, I'm very, surprised because usually the Times is so careful with the way they do things.
Yes.
And so this is a major faux pas. So let me tell you a little bit more. So, of course, everybody has been asking them for comment. And so Motherboard contacted the Times one time, and they edited the piece to remove the metadata from the source code and replace it with null. So this is what happened. Motherboard, which is a like a computer publication, found, and a computing publication found that numbers and internal notes for fact checkers were remained in the article's source code. So it's very easy, and TJ can speak to this. If that stuff is in the source code, you can easily you can actually do this online. Go and find the code. And you'll find all that stuff.
Exactly.
You can.
And so they forgot to remove the metadata from the source code and replace it with null, which is what it was. So they found what appeared to be multiple phone numbers in the source code. Wow. And security experts told Motherboard that the exposure is dangerous. Quote, this metadata error is a regrettable and entirely avoidable one on the part of the New York Times. And this is Thomas Ridd, who's a professor of strategic studies at Johns Hopkins. The Times says it spent almost 2 months on translating the recordings. Well, it should have spent another 20 minutes on scrubbing the metadata. So,
Wow.
so here's an example of what one of the interviewees said. This interviewee was they didn't say exactly who it is, but one of the interviewees said, Putin is a fool. He wants to take Kyiv, but there's no way we can do it. So this was apparently looks like it was a Russian soldier. Do you know the implications of calling Putin a fool?
Wow. Wow. He's done more for less.
Exactly.
Especially on a foreign news story.
Exactly.
Wow.
So
Allegedly.
Go ahead, sorry.
Allegedly. In case anybody's listening.
Yeah, allegedly doesn't work for them. So other conversations by said soldiers lambast their superiors. Quote, one said, they said we were going for training. These bastards didn't tell us anything. Mom, and this war is the stupidest decision our government ever made, I think, said another one.
Wow.
This is very dangerous, to say the least. And if you're a journalist, you really have to be very careful. If you're doing things like this, yes, scrub the metadata. Make sure that you are protecting sources who need protecting. I can't say what a failure enough this is by the New York Times.
Wow.
That's unfortunate.
Wow.
Yeah. By the way, there's something I forgot to tell you about Spare. Prince Harry's book Spare sold over 1.4 million English copies, and it's already on its second run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sold out.
Look, the publisher is Penguin Random House. They're pretty happy.
I know they're happy.
So let's talk a little bit about just like one or two more stories. HBO Max is having the first price hike, and they're raising the monthly rate by $1. Now, when did you start HBO Max? And already? But anyway, let me be quiet. So beginning yesterday, the cost of an ad-free HBO Max subscription went up from $14.99 to $15.99 a month. So from $15 to $16. Basically, that's what, $12 extra per year. So this increase comes after HBO pulled hundreds of episodes of classic cartoons and shows like Westworld from the service. So we know why this is happening, right? This is a cost move. This is a financial move, definitely. So they are the next in the streaming services to get this price increase. This is the first one that has launched since launching in 2020. Okay, so they've been around now. This is the third year, and this is the first price hike. But my thing is, like, if you keep up at that rate, how long can you keep that up before it's no longer viable? People go, I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for it now, but how long do you keep that up?
And that's what I mean by driving people back to cable. When you start adding all these up, and then if I want to see something extra, I got to pay a separate price and rent it or buy it. People are going to start adding that up and saying, nope, thank you.
Exactly.
I'm going back to Egypt.
Slavery is better than this. I mean, we already have a fatigue. We have content fatigue or streaming fatigue. And so it's not helping with the fatigue that you continue to raise this. But let me tell you, HBO Max wrote in a press release, this price increase of $1 will allow us to continue to invest in providing even more cultural defining programming and improving our customer experience for all users. Well, it remains to be seen whether or not that's the case. But my thing is this, like you said, driving back to at least having people consider, was cable a better deal now that everything is a la carte? Because if everybody does that, to you it's $1. But if you multiply that by the amount of streamers. What if everybody did that? So now you could be paying upwards of an extra $100-something a year for all of your services, to which people have let, you know what? No, that extra $100-something a year could be used for something else. Ask somebody else to do it. So, so that's what's happening. If you are HBO Max, you probably noticed that there will be an increase. However, if you are on the ad-supported plan, you will stay at $9.99 per month for now, at least.
Wow.
Yay.
Okay. Thank you, HBO Max.
Exactly. Thanks, HBO. Anyway, and the final thing that I want to talk to is no, that was the final thing I want to talk about. I think I am good with that.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Carlos says he's a super journalist. So okay, Carlos. So just be careful with that metadata.
Yep.
We just want to thank everybody for tuning in and hanging out with us here on BizChicks for the Tech Life Weekly. TJ, we love you. And remember that you can find her online everywhere, Terry Johnson Online. We want to thank Dr. Tachi from Media Source. Remember that you can tune in to Dr. Tachi on Wednesdays. It's coming up again. They're opening back up in February. So look for that. And we want to thank everybody who tuned in and all of you who participated. If you're looking to become a part of BizChicks, you can text biz to 33777, or you can simply go to bizchicks.net and join our community. We'd love for you to be a part. Remember, if you're looking for help with your tech, just give us a call, BizChicks. You can direct message us. We'd love to help you. So remember, it's okay to make money in your business. So go to the front of your own line. Have a great day. We'll see you Monday for Coffee, Tea, Thoughts, and Conversations with the BizChicks. Bye-bye, everyone.